Hi, I'm Kelly Detman, and I'm a Partner Technical Consultant at Microsoft. Today I'm going to be talking about the new system-wide features released in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2015. Many new exciting enhancements were added in Dynamics GP 2015, but today we're going to take a look at 5 that we can classify as system-wide. The first we'll look at is service-based architecture. Then we'll look at enhancements made to identity management. Then we'll see the ability to copy homepage settings. Next, we'll look at enhancements made to the web client. And then finally, we'll take a look at self-service. Before we jump to the GP 2015 new features, I wanted to take a minute to take a look back at what was added for system-wide in GP 2013 R2, which is available at the end of May 2014. Some of the larger system-wide features that were added was a new workflow system that was built right into Dynamics GP, an updated user interface option, and identity management for web client. Keep in mind, this list is just system-wide for R2. There are over 120 features available since the release of GP 2013, and now we'll cover more with GP 2015. Here's a full list of GP 2015 new features that we could classify as system-wide. Not all of these features will be covered in this video. There will be a separate recording for application features where payment terms enhancements will be covered. There will also be a business intelligence video where we'll take a look at refreshable Excel reports in SmartList Designer, navigation to management reporter right within GP, and then finally Business Analyzer. And there will also be a video to learn about the new workflows in GP 2015 that build onto the new workflow system that was added in GP 2013 R2. One of the big rock features added with GP 2015 is service-based architecture. This is a very broad topic and lots of details will be shared on this going forward, so this will be an intro to the new functionality, but not an in-depth look. The new service-based architecture enables Microsoft Dynamics GP and ISV products to expose and consume services. Services are the backbone of the cloud, and this feature supports new and existing scenarios around cloud-based interaction. Let's take a look at more details on it. The service-based architecture can change the way we think about integrating or building applications that use GP functionality. Unlike our previous services model that provided a limited set of operations and was challenging to extend or modify, the new architecture provides a developer with the ability to access any Sanskrit-based functionality within core or third-party dictionaries. Developers can utilize pre-built operations or create their own using the familiar Sanskrit language and then expose those operations through a REST-based API. The new architecture secures communications for access to operations through the new identity management feature, which we'll cover next, which allows authentication through either Windows or Azure AD identities. The operations themselves are included in the GP security model, so just like forms and reports, you can assign access to tasks and roles as you see fit. The API uses industry standard HTTPS and REST pattern URLs to call operations and can be used on a variety of platforms. Developers and users can easily understand what operations are available and how they can call them by using the discovery functionality of the service. And the deployment of the architecture is scalable, so it can fit any size organization from just a few to hundreds of users and can grow as the organization does. Let's take a look at the service-based architecture deployment. Just 2 points here. You have flexible deployment options, so whether it be more of a simple single machine configuration, or you can scale it out and have the deployment across multiple servers using a single tenant or multi-tenant. And then for the install, the service-based architecture is included in the same install as web client, so you can do both at the same time if you desire. And this is just a print screen of the Microsoft Dynamics GP Web Components screen, showing there that you can install service-based architecture. Some key takeaways for this new feature. Consumers benefit. People can build apps on GP. App developers can use any platform they want, so you can think of Android, iOS, Windows. And then authentication, Windows or Office 365 Azure AD identities. So let's look at identity management. With the release of GP 2013 R2, we simplified the login process for Dynamics GP on web client. A GP user would no longer need to enter their SQL credentials followed by their domain user. You could assign a domain user to a GP user in the user setup and log in with just the domain user when accessing web client. Now with GP 2015, we've added on to that. GP 2015 offers single sign-on through integration with Microsoft Azure Active Directory to help users work seamlessly across Dynamics GP, Office 365, and other cloud-based applications. So let's look at some details on this new feature. With Dynamics GP Web Client, this will allow users to easily authenticate web client users in the cloud with Azure Active Directory using an organizational account. GP users will have the ability to log into the GP Web Client hosted in the cloud with the same credentials as they use to log into other cloud applications. So think Office 365 or CRM Online, or whatever apps use this sign-on experience. When we think about organizational accounts, these are user accounts stored in Windows Azure Active Directory, and they're referred to organizational accounts. You can assign to a Dynamics GP user in the user setup window by going to Administration, System, and then User. For deployment, you can use Dynamics GP utilities to set the authentication type during the install. So you can choose organizational account from the drop-down. And you can also change the authentication type later by selecting Manage User Authentication from the drop-down list in the additional task window from utilities as well. Let's look at our third system-wide feature for GP 2015, Copy Homepage Settings. This feature enables an administrator or any other user that has security access to set up or edit GP users to copy homepage roles, homepage content, and area page settings from one user to another. Let's take a look at more details on this. This feature will make the user setup process a snap by simply being able to copy security, homepage content, or area page settings from an existing user. We can start taking a look at the feature by opening up the user setup screen, which is on the left side of the window here, and then clicking the Copy Settings button, which is in the top ribbon. On prior versions, the Copy Settings button was called Copy Access, and it will now be named Copy Settings. When you click Copy Settings, you'll open up the Copy User Settings window. And in here, on prior versions, the top half of the window was existing functionality, so you were able to copy security access from one user to another. But if you look at the bottom half of the Copy User Settings window on the right, you'll see what was added for GP 2015 is the Home Page and Area Page section, and we'll take a look at that now in GP 2015. So here I'm logged into Dynamics GP 2015, and I'm using the web client in this example. I have a new user that I'm setting up in the system named Kelly, and I can use this Copy Settings button to make the job of setting this new user up a lot easier. In the top half of the window, we'll see existing functionality where we can copy security access. So if I have a user that perhaps I've already set up in the system and they do a very similar role, and I want to copy all the security and report access that they should have in window access, I can easily just select that user and then copy security. This also includes which companies they have access to. I can also at the same time copy home page and area pages, or I can do them separately. Once I select one of these boxes, then it'll light up the user ID that I'm copying from. I can do one of them or I can do all of them at the same time, and I can also do security at the same time. So if I decide to copy the home page role and the home page content here, I'll select a user that I'm going to copy from. Just select Brian here and then click OK. This is a message that you can be prompted with if you've customized any of these for the user already. So you wouldn't get this if it was brand new, but I've already customized for Kelly a little bit. So you'll just get a message that some exists. You can either overwrite it by clicking continue, or you can cancel, and the copy that you were going to do will be canceled. So I'm going to click continue here, and then the changes have been made. We'll take a look at a few more table updates on this. So let's look at some details on what tables are affected when you do use the copy homepage settings. So if you mark homepage role, you'll see that the table there affected is the SY08000. When you do the homepage content, there's a list of tables there that'll be updated, and then the same for area pages. The message at the bottom is just the message that you'll see when the user that you're copying to already has some content customized for them, and it's just letting you know that it'll overwrite existing content if you click continue. And then the other option is to click cancel, which will cancel the copy operation that you were doing. The next feature we'll look at is web client enhancements. So if we go to this next slide here, you'll see that Web Client has came a long way on GP 2013, starting with Service Pack 1, Human Resources, Payroll, some of the field service modules, inventory, and then Service Pack 2 released with Project Accounting Series, Manufacturing, Fixed Assets, finishing up the field service modules, and then with GP 2015, you'll see the Invoicing and Canadian Payroll module has been added. Some the widely used features that are available in the desktop client are available in web client as well. As part of the Dynamics GP 2015 release, Microsoft is also introducing a lower cost self-service user type for users who need only very light functionality within Dynamics GP. The self-service user cal is a named user that will be applied per individual, which is different from the current concurrent users that have been available for full or limited users. This new user type will not be implemented in the system as a user type in user setup until later on. So this will be something that you need to manually take care of as far as security, as it won't be implemented in the product right now. Let's take a look at the features available for employee self-service. On the GP 2013 R2 release, we had purchase requisitions, payroll time card, the ability to enter time on projects, the ability to see these parts on your home page, and then simplified navigation through lists that were added. And then on GP 2015, a whole lot more have been added. You'll see employee profile, pay stubs, the ability to see W-4s, benefits, direct deposit, skills and training, and then the expense part of project accounting. Here are more details on the Self-Serve User. A lower cost self-service user license type will be introduced for users who only need very light functionality within Dynamics GP. The self-service user cal is a named user that will be applied per individual. So this is different than what we've previously had of full and limited concurrent users. You'll want to see the licensing policies on Partner Source for specific details and transition information. The new user type will not be implemented or enforced in Dynamics GP until later. For that reason, you must manage the number of self-serve users manually until it's enforced in the product. Remember, these are not concurrent but named users. You'll want to manage the security manually. You'll set security for the users to limit access to the resources available to the self-serve user from within user security in Dynamics GP. The self-serve user cal has read and write using one of the Microsoft Dynamics GP clients, whether it be the web or a desktop client, to the following security roles: ESS employee, ESS PT, E-employee, ESS purchase requester, and ESS employee BSS for benefit self-service. Thank you for watching today. To recap the new GP 2015 system-wide features, we have service-based architecture, identity management, the ability to copy homepage settings, enhancements made to web client, and then the new self-service information. Thank you.